Something strange is happening in Ghana's forests. Not a loud disaster, not a single headline moment, just silence where animals used to be. A footprint here that fades, a species there that becomes rare, a forest that still looks green but is slowly becoming empty. And for decades, Ghana had a law meant to stop this. But here's an uncomfortable question. What if the law itself was part of the problem? Because on March 1st, 2024, Ghana didn't just update a policy. It quietly replaced a system that had been in place since 1961. The old framework, the Wild Animals Preservation Act of 1961, was built for a different Ghana. A Ghana where wildlife crime was local, not global, and that matters more than it sounds. Because over time, three things broke the system. First, fragmentation. Rules scattered across documents no one could fully track. Second, weak deterrence. Penalties that made illegal wildlife trade a calculated risk, not a disaster. But the deeper issue was this. The system didn't belong to the people living closest to the animals. So protection became something enforced from above, not protected from within. And when that happens anywhere in the world, conservation becomes fragile, not because people don't care, but because they don't benefit. Act 1115 changes the structure completely. It doesn't just update rules, it rebuilds the system from the ground up. At the center is a simple shift. Wildlife is now treated as a national resource managed under a unified legal framework, implemented through the Forestry Commission and its Wildlife Division. That sounds administrative, but it changes everything about who controls, protects, and benefits from Ghana's wildlife. Ghana no longer protects places in a generic way. It defines them precisely. National parks, resource reserves, sanctuaries, Ramsar wetlands, strict nature zones. Each category now has a specific ecological purpose, which sounds technical, but it fixes a major historical flaw. Protecting land without defining what protection actually means. This is where the law becomes socially explosive in a good way. Because Act 1115 formally expands community resource management areas. This is the reversal of the old logic. Instead of communities being restricted by conservation, they are now co-managers of it. That means local decision-making, local enforcement rules, and critically, local economic benefit from sustainable wildlife use. Alongside this are PAMACs, advisory committees that pull traditional leaders and community voices directly into protected area governance. This is not symbolic inclusion, it is structural inclusion. Wildlife crime is no longer local. It is international supply chains, trafficking routes, and cross-border networks. Act 1115 aligns enforcement with global agreements like CITES, Ramsar, Bonn Convention, meaning Ghana is no longer just participating in conservation treaties. It now has stronger legal tools to enforce them domestically. But the most controversial part of Act 1115 is enforcement. Wildlife officers now operate with expanded authority, including arrest powers in active violations. Penalties are also significantly increased. And the law expands into areas the old system never anticipated: private zoos, captive breeding systems, controlled propagation of plant species. This is the state acknowledging something important. Wildlife protection is no longer just conservation, it is also security. So Act 1115 is not just a legal reform, it is a redefinition of who gets to participate in conservation and who benefits from it. But laws alone don't protect wildlife, people do. Which leads to the real question Ghana now faces. If communities are given power, responsibility, and benefit, will that be enough to reverse decades of loss? Because the law has changed. Now the outcome depends on everything that happens outside the law. Have you ever seen wildlife disappear in your own community over time? What do you think actually causes it? Laws, poverty, or something deeper? Drop your thoughts below.